This video was made possible by Mizizi International, the official African diaspora clothing brand. Visit mizizishop.com for more information. It is no secret that currently, traversing Africa by air is typically marred by fragmentation and inefficiencies, with limited connectivity between nations, leading to circuitous routes, multiple layovers, and cumbersome visa requirements. This fragmentation not only elongates travel times, but also poses financial and logistical challenges for passengers and hampers the potential for seamless continent-wide mobility, turning what should be a quick trip into a travel marathon. However, all this is set to change. Imagine a future where journeys across Africa are seamless, allowing you to hop on a flight in Lagos, pick up fellow travelers in Nairobi, and effortlessly continue onwards to Cairo, all under the umbrella of a single ticket. This revolutionary transformation is on the horizon, thanks to a new initiative, which is a collaborative effort by African aviation authorities that promises to paint the skies a vibrant picture of interconnectedness. What is this initiative? What does it entail? And how is this set to revolutionize air travel in Africa? In today's video, we will offer deep insight into these questions and many more. But before we dive into our topic today, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to our channels and ringing the bell to be notified about all our exciting future videos. For decades, air travel within Africa has been hindered by a rigid point-to-point model characterized by scarcity of direct flight between African countries. Without an open airspace regime in place, African countries have relied on bilateral air service agreements with one another to operate, posing the issue of finalizing various discussions between several countries. This limitation has imposed considerable constraints on the continent's aviation landscape, rendering intra-African travel both challenging and expensive. The scarcity of direct connections not only elongates journey durations, but also exacerbates costs, discouraging both business and leisure travel between nations. The absence of efficient and affordable flight options within Africa has contributed to impeded economic growth, hindered cultural exchange, and curtailed the realization of the continent's vast potential for interconnectedness. As a consequence, there has long been a strong need for a paradigm shift in the African air travel system. But all this is set to change, thanks to the introduction of an open skies scheme known as the Single African Air Transport Market, or S.A.A.T.M. The S.A.A.T.M. stands as the flagship project of the African Union Agenda 2063, representing a visionary initiative aimed at establishing a unified and liberalized air transport market across the continent. Especially, the vision is for a fully integrated African airspace with a single open skies policy instead of African countries having to strike up bilateral service agreements with one another to operate. According to the S.A.A.T.M. handbook, the initiative will now simply allow an eligible airline or air carrier from one African state to fly into another African state's airspace and land on its territory with only prior notification. Formally launched on January 29, 2018, following the adoption of the Declaration on the Establishment of a Single Africa Air Transport Market by the African Union Assembly in 2015, the S.A.A.T.M. is strategically positioned to catalyze economic integration and foster a more connected Africa. Currently, the market has already garnered support from 34 countries, namely Benin, Botswana, Burkina Faso, Cabo Verde, Cameroon, Central African Republic, Chad, Congo-Brazzaville, Côte d'Ivoire, Egypt, Ethiopia, Equatorial Guinea, Gabon, Gambia, Ghana, Guinea-Bissau, Guinea-Conakry, Kenya, Lesotho, Liberia, Mali, Morocco, Mozambique, Namibia, Niger, Nigeria, Democratic Republic of Congo, Rwanda, Senegal, Sierra Leone, South Africa, Swaziland, Togo, and Zimbabwe, representing over 80% of the existing aviation market in Africa. In March 2024, Uganda also expressed interest in joining the Open Skies initiative in the next financial year, making it the 35th country to sign up for the S.A.A.T.M. With the explicit goal of promoting social, economic, and political integration, S.A.A.T.M. envisions aviation as a vital force connecting disparate regions of the continent. By facilitating intra-Africa trade and tourism, this groundbreaking initiative aspires to dismantle the historical constraint of rigid point-to-point models that have hindered air travel within Africa. The significance of S.A.A.T.M. extends beyond mere rhetoric, as it has transitioned from a conceptual framework to operational reality. Out of the 35 AU member states that have signed up, 17 have volunteered to pioneer the initiative. The participating nations are Kenya, Ethiopia, Rwanda, South Africa, Cape Verde, Cote d'Ivoire, Cameroon, Ghana, Morocco, Mozambique, Namibia, Nigeria, Senegal, Togo, Zambia, Niger, and Gabon. This would be a test run, and the participating countries have agreed to open their air markets unconditionally. The decision was made recently, during the 23rd anniversary of the Yamoussoukro Declaration, held on November 14, 2022 in Dakar, Senegal. Right after this test run was launched, Kenya Airways announced a new route between the capitals of Ghana and Senegal, which began on December 11, 2022, and was aimed at corporate passengers in this sector. The new flight will provide extra options for passengers flying between Nairobi and Accra, 9 weekly flights, and Nairobi and Dakar, 4 weekly flights. But how is the S.A.A.T.M. able to dismantle the expensive and cumbersome rigid point-to-point model that has dominated African travel, replacing it with more fluid and interconnected arrangement? The new single African air transport market achieves this by allowing airlines the fifth freedom of traffic right. The fifth freedom of traffic right is one of the fundamental freedoms of international air travel that allows airlines to operate outside the borders of their home countries. Specifically, the fifth freedom of traffic right grants airlines the ability to carry passengers and cargo from one foreign country to another while en route to or from a home country. For instance, under this fifth freedom law, Ethiopian Airlines from Ethiopia can fly from Addis Ababa to Nairobi, Kenya, and then continue to Johannesburg, South Africa, picking up passengers in Nairobi for the onward journey. This benefits passengers by offering more connections and potentially lower fares, while airlines can tap into new markets and fill empty seats. Similarly, Royal Air Maroc, based in Casablanca, Morocco, could leverage fifth freedom rights to fly to Tunis, Tunisia, and then continue to Bamako, Mali. This strategy would create a convenient connection for passengers in Tunisia to reach West Africa, while allowing Royal Air Maroc to compete in the growing Malian market. Also, Air Cote d'Ivoire, operating out of Abidjan, Ivory Coast, might utilize fifth freedom right to fly to Accra, Ghana, and then onwards to Lagos, Nigeria. This strategy would cater to the high volume of business traffic between these major West African cities. Fifth freedom routes are far less popular than they once were. Modern aircraft's endurance, capacity, and fuel efficiency have enabled non-stop trips that were formerly physically impossible or economically unfeasible. Furthermore, several airlines have abandoned fifth freedom routes in favor of alliances or code-share arrangements with other airlines. However, Africa is set to revitalize the fifth freedom of traffic rights because the possibilities for continent-wide interconnectivity are endless, with many benefits for all. Indeed, the benefits of the S.A.A.T.M go beyond mere convenience for travelers, as it serves as a powerful engine for economic growth and business expansion across Africa. By facilitating seamless air travel connections, the single African air transport market strategically supports the African Continental Free Trade Area, a cornerstone of the continent's development agenda. The African Continental Free Trade Area aims to boost intra-African trade by eliminating tariffs and trade barriers, ultimately creating a single market for goods and services across the continent. This is expected to drive economic growth, reduce poverty, and make Africa more competitive in the global market. The single African air transport market will support the African Continental Free Trade Area vision by dismantling logistical hurdles that previously impeded trade and investment. With streamlined air travel between African nations, businesses gain easier access to new markets, fostering cross-border partnerships and participation in regional value chains. This enhanced connectivity unlocks new avenues for economic diversification, attracting foreign investment and creating jobs across various sectors like manufacturing, agriculture, and services. The International Air Transport Association estimates that even if just 12 key African countries open their markets and increase connectivity, an extra 155,000 jobs and $1.3 billion in annual GDP would be created in those countries. Consequently, the ripple effect of this economic integration initiative is poised to fuel growth and prosperity for African nations, contributing significantly to their collective development goals outlined in the African Continental Free Trade Area. Furthermore, the single African air transport market will catalyze tourism development within Africa by increasing air travel options and potentially lowering fares. The initiative entices more tourists to explore the continent's diverse offerings. This influx of tourism generates significant revenue for local economies, creating jobs in the hospitality, transportation, and cultural preservation sectors. Additionally, it fosters cultural exchange and showcases Africa's rich heritage to the world, further boosting its image as a vibrant and attractive tourist destination. This, in turn, contributes to sustainable economic development by diversifying revenue streams and empowering local communities. Beyond these benefits, the S.A.A.T.M will also empower airlines to explore new routes, expanding the operational reach. This fosters competition among airlines, potentially leading to more efficient operations and ultimately lower fares for passengers. This win-win situation creates a vibrant and competitive air transport market in Africa, making air travel more accessible and affordable for millions, fostering greater connectivity and opening doors to a brighter economic future for the continent. But despite the promising vision for enhanced connectivity and economic growth across the continent, it is crucial to note that the S.A.A.T.M is not without its challenges. Regulatory obstacles pose a formidable barrier, with the need for harmonized and standardized aviation regulations across diverse jurisdictions. Infrastructure limitations, including inadequate airports and air traffic management systems, further impede the seamless operation of the S.A.A.T.M. Concerns over market competition and security raise apprehensions among participating nations. The success of the single African air transport market, or the S.A.A.T.M, critically depends on the willingness of individual countries to open their skies, demanding a level of trust and cooperation that may be challenging to achieve given varied interests and capabilities of the nations involved. Overcoming these hurdles requires a concerted effort to address regulatory disparities, invest in infrastructure development, and foster collaboration among African nations to realize the potential of a unified and efficient air transport market. In conclusion, the Single African Air Transport Market Initiative stands as a beacon of hope for a more interconnected and economically vibrant Africa, with its overwhelming advantages poised to revolutionize the continent's air travel landscape. The prospect of seamless cross-border flights and increased accessibility promises unprecedented benefits for trade, tourism, and economic development. However, the initiative is not without its challenges, including regulatory complexities and infrastructure limitations, which necessitate careful consideration and collaborative efforts to surmount. As the S.A.A.T.M advances, the global aviation community, industry stakeholders, and travelers will undoubtedly observe its implementation with keen interest. The realization of a sky without borders in Africa signifies a transformative era in air travel, and its success hinges on addressing challenges and fostering cooperation, ensuring that the initiative fulfills its potential to reshape the continent's economic and social dynamics. Your perspective matters. Are you excited about the single African air transport market set to revolutionize travel within the continent? Share your insights and thoughts in the comments below. For continued updates on global affairs and diplomatic developments, be sure to subscribe to the New Africa channel. Stay informed, stay engaged. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to bringing you more insightful content in the future.